What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Qatar Grand Prix deadline stream. Oh me, oh my. We are rocking and rolling today. I'm like genuinely nervous about the decisions that I have to make over the next 2 hours. But let me know how y'all are doing. Let me know where you're watching from in the world and how sure or unsure you are about your Qatar Grand Prix lineup, because I think I've got it down to about 3 lineups. But me, oh my, there is a lot of stuff going on in F1 Fantasy today. I hope y'all are good. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop a like if you don't like me. Subscribe if you do like me and you want to ask a question. There we go. How about that? My possible moves are right up there in the top right-hand corner. I think I'll eventually learn where to point on that for maybe by next season, by the 2026 season. Oh man, here we are. Who have we got in the chat? We got Guitar, Signs, or Sonoda. I believe I'm going to go with, I'm going to go Sonoda. Sonoda for me there. For some reason, my little chat overlay thing is not working today, so I apologize about that, guys, but I will answer all of the questions. I have 3x DRS, but if I do triple McLaren, I will need to drop Williams as the constructor. If I want to cover all bases, I could Norris, Piastri with Red Bull and Mercedes, or Piastri and Russell, McLaren and Mercedes. I would definitely want a piece of Red Bull this week. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Samsy, I'm going to triple McLaren and Mercedes with Sainz, Alonso, and Hadjar this weekend, taking a -10. I can stretch to Red Bull and triple McLaren with the bottom of the barrel drivers, but take a -20 doesn't seem worth it. I'm going triple McLaren and Mercedes with Sainz, Alonso. Very strong lineup. I can get there with a -10 as well, I believe, Samsy. So great minds hopefully think alike. Let me see here. What is going on with this? That's annoying. Oh well. We will get it. Michael says, unsure. Rebecca's in the chat. What's up, Rebecca? One of the YouTube or Patreon members. Don't forget that you can also sign up. There's also a promo code going on right now for Black Friday. Use that little code above my head. You get 25% off your first month in the F1 Fantasy Discord, Patreon, that sort of stuff. Adil says, watching from my hotel in Qatar, about to head to the sprint, but need to set my lineup first. Well, hit us with it, Adil. A consequential stream. I'm so excited. So excited I'm sneezing out of excitement. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. I am in fear of Sonoda torpedo into Lando would be insane for the championship. I think the internet, the F1 internet, would explode if that happens. And we're live. Glad it's better. It's a better time now. Yes. Oh my goodness. Vegas was a little bit rough for us Europeans. Hey everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day. I do agree, Ewan. It is Yeah, it's so nerve-wracking. I'm very, very nervous. Hello, you beautiful man. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Iceman. Would you triple McLaren for -10 or keep Verstappen, get in Piastri, can't afford Norris, and who would you put the 3 DRX on? I'm taking hits this week. So if you want to avoid hits, I might be the wrong man to ask, because I'm going to be, as you can see, my possible moves right now in the top right-hand corner, hit City for the F1 Fantasy Pole Position squad this week. But if you feel confident enough in Verstappen, then I would probably avoid the hit. You can also see the post-sprint quality expected points from F1 Fantasy Tools, a great website where you can still use promo code UN50 to get 50% off your first month. So you can do it for the final 2 races, test it out for the end of the 2025 season, see if you like it for 2026. Yogi Bear is in the chat. Here for the start for the first time, but my team is already locked in. Gone from Norris, Russell, Behrman, Gasly, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes to Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Gasly, Sainz, McLaren, Red Bull, and use Norris on 3X. You're looking pretty much exactly like my team that I'm thinking about there, Anth. So great job by you. Hey, Ewan, evening from India. Why are you choosing Red Bull over Merc? Great question. To me, it feels I'm not scared of Mercedes this week. And those are like clip that off and play it back to me on the cool down room episode, which we'll be having tomorrow, an hour after the Grand Prix. And maybe I will cry tears of sadness or laughter. Hopefully laughter, even if it is tears of sadness, because it just doesn't feel like Mercedes is perfectly fine. I have no problem with them. They're in one of my possible lineups that I'm thinking about going to in F1 Fantasy for the Qatar Grand Prix this week. It just doesn't get the juices flowing a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's if you are defending a lead, I think Mercedes is a great play. Even if you're kind of chasing, I think they're a fine play. I don't know if they're a good play. I don't know if they're a great play. It's just a little meh for me. And yeah, that's kind of that's just my gut feeling. I know that the team calculator says right now, unless they've been updated, like it says they're going to score 4 more points than Red Bull, and obviously they cost almost 2 million less than Red Bull. So they're in a great spot. Like points per money 2.34 over 2.0. But Antonelli did look a little rough yesterday in sprint qualifying. George Russell, I'm backing him to be on the podium in the sprint race. It's just, I don't know. But I'm not saying that it's not a good, because I might end up a Mercedes. So while we're in the beginning parts of it, let me just go over my 3 possible moves here if I can. So right now I've got Verstappen, Russell, Behrman, Sainz, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes. 3 options I can go with. So a -10, I'm honestly going to have to get this back up because I've done so many iterations. So a -10 is Verstappen, Russell, Behrman out for Norris, Piastri, and Hadjar. That's a -10. Sorry, I need to keep McLaren in there and Mercedes for Norris, Piastri, and Hadjar. This is a good team. Actually, if I go to the team calculator for pinned teams, this is one of the preferred teams for my squad. Actually, never mind. They actually don't like Hadjar as much as I do, but I prefer Hadjar to the Sims right now. And this is a -10. It's got Norris, Piastri, McLaren. It's fine. It's got Mercedes. Another reason that I'm Red Bull over Mercedes is because I am a little bit worried about having 0 exposure to Red Bull. And people have been kind of not chirping in a negative way, but they've been telling me on X and stuff like, hey man, if Tsunoda can put that car P5, what do you think is going to happen when they can come out of Parc Fermé, they get the changes correct, and what do you think Verstappen's going to do when he has another chance to set up the car in the right direction? Which is a great point. And having 0 exposure to Max Verstappen while he's hunting down 2 McLarens or leading 2 McLarens in tomorrow's race will not feel good. It will feel bad. I will be scared. So getting that little bit of exposure is in play for me. And I can do that if I take another -10. So I'm up to a -20 now. And I bring in Alonso. And I just go to Red Bull. This is a negative. I've done something wrong here. My loosey-goosey math is all over the place. But that might be a -30. But I think I'll probably end up just keeping. I think this is the lineup where I keep Gasly instead of bringing in Hadjar. So I can go Lando, Piastri, and then not with Max. Goodness, I'm all over the place. My brain is scrambled. And then 5.2, yeah. So that's where I'd have to go with Alonso. Also, this lineup is chaotic. So that's why I'm kind of in. This would be a better lineup for me. I missed 0.1 for Norris Verstappen, so my options are Norris plus Piastri with Alonso, Hadjar, Sainz. That's perfectly fine, Booyaka. McLaren Red Bull or McLaren Mercedes? Right now, I'm on McLaren Red Bull right now. Let's see. How about to Piastri, Russell, Alonso, Tsunoda, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes? Yeah, that's fine. Bless you, says Mac Attack. Piastri, Verstappen, Hadjar, Sainz, Alonso, I'm thinking. Ooh, that's nice. Best lineup for unlimited chip, says Akorasol 77. I would go with Triple McLaren, double Red Bull, Russell, and then take your pick out of Leclerc and Antonelli. Hi, Ewan. Haven't been in the stream for a while, says FPL Daxter. I am going to post my lineup soon, but I managed to get to triple McLaren with Sainz, Alonso, Gasly, and Merc with no hits, hoping for good. That's really nice. Can't wait for a Monday morning when it's LN1 time. Ha ha ha. Yep, it could be. That's going to be another decision for the 3X. I am of the mind that whoever wins tomorrow's race will get driver of the day, which is a whole 10 extra points, which is actually like 20 extra points over the field, or 10 extra points over your 2X driver if you are playing the extra DRS boost. So who do you think is going to win the race? If Max wins, he gets driver of the day. If Lando wins and wins the world championship, he gets driver of the day. If Oscar wins and fights back to kind of close down the gap, he's going to get driver of the day. I don't think any B tier drivers are going to get driver of the day. Like, I don't think Lewis Hamilton's going to get driver of the day or anything like that. So I don't think we have to worry about those. It's really the top 3. And it will be a big swing, and it will be annoying if it's not your driver. Julia, who is the best option to include for 3X chip with Norris, Piastri, or Russell? I would go with Piastri there, Julia. Which B team, Racing Bulls or Williams? Williams looks mighty strong right now. They are a little bit more expensive, obviously, than Racing Bulls. What's that, 3.6 million? So, yeah. Let's see. If you can go Racing Bulls and that improves another driver in your squad, Hornu, I'd go there. Mac Attack says, saw your response pre-stream. I do like the idea of triple Merc because the temps are lower this week. Plus, I see a double top 5 finish incoming at least. I do think Antonelli can move forward. I'd be more concerned about Yuki definitely falling back and potentially even Max struggling the whole weekend. I am rooting for Max. I think they can pull a Las Vegas 2.0. In my T1 squad, Max 3X, Kimi 2X, Hadjar, Alonso, Sainz plus Red Bull plus Merc, or Max 3X, Alonso 2X, Hadjar, Sainz, Behrman plus McLaren plus Red Bull. What's your opinion? Oh, definitely not Alonso 2X. No, go with Kimi 2X. Yeah, there you go. Where are we at? What is your thoughts on Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, V-Carb? I mean, having Verstappen, Piastri there is a really strong start. Having McLaren gets you double exposure to McLaren, which is always nice. And I don't mind V-Carb. I don't think they should do too bad. Alonso is not going to hurt you. Hadjar looks pretty rapid. I chose Norris plus Piastri and McLaren plus Mir. Who should I put the 3X on? It says Kong Kate. It's who do you think is going to win the race? That's who I would say. Right now, I'm leaning towards Lando because I think he's driving confidently. He said he left some time out there in qualifying. I know Piastri also had a mistake on his sprint quali final lap, but Lando seems quite calm. He seems pretty evident. The case against Lando would be that he doesn't have to risk it for the chocolate biscuit, like Zach GP says, to win the World Drivers' Championship. He can literally come second, and he will be A-OK in the World Drivers' Championship, in the sprint and in the Grand Prix today and tomorrow. So there's not a lot to worry about there with Lando. So maybe he does not risk it for the chocolate biscuits. Maybe he's only going for the plain digestives. So if you are going bold, I think Piastri is probably the better option as well. Do you think Alonso or Sainz will be most owned B tier? Trying to go differential. I think it'll probably be Alonso just because he is bottom of the barrel and everyone will be trying to fit him in. Right now, Sainz is at 65% and Alonso's at 20%. However, because Sainz is 7.1 million, like a lot of managers can save 2.6 million from dropping down from Sainz to Alonso, and that 2.6 million can get you from a George Russell to an Oscar Piastri, from a Max Verstappen to a Lando Norris, that kind of thing. So I think people will be using Sainz and Behrman as those kind of cash cows to get some money in to their front line of their F1 fantasy squad. Rebecca's in the chat. My dilemma is the same as a lot of others. -10 for 3X McLaren, or stick with Verstappen and bring in Piastri and avoid the -10. I can't get to the Red Bull constructor. Who do you think's going to win the race, Rebecca? That would probably help because that driver of the day is going to eliminate all the hits. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Mac Attack. I'm thinking -10 for triple Mercedes, Piastri, McLaren, Alonso, and Lawson or Hulkenberg. Also, no negative. I keep Colapinto instead of Alonso. Yeah, if you've got a chip like that, I would use it this weekend. Let's see here. Where are we at? Kimichi, what is up? I was considering -10 moves, but the gap between top 10 ranks is so small, I'm going 2 trades. All right, I've pretty much decided already, just waiting for last minute info. For example, if Alonso suddenly has engine issues and can't start, low chance, but this saved me in the past. Great point, Kimichi, who is flying in the top 10 of the world rankings. So great job by you, Kimichi. 3X Norris or Piastri? Who do you think is going to win the race? That is what I would say. If I swapped Mercedes to Red Bull, should I have to swap out Bortoleto for Hulkenberg? Bortoleto for Hulkenberg, Lawson, Gasly, or Franco, but I can give me -10. I would go Hulkenberg. Like, Sauber didn't look too bad in free practice yesterday. I think it was a little bit of a surprise that they got knocked out in SQ2. If I remember correctly, they looked okay. So Hulkenberg was P11 in practice yesterday, and then got through this. So Hulkenberg, I think with him being a veteran, I'd probably back him over Colapinto and Lawson because they're kind of rookies, even though Lawson has had experience at this track, and Gasly and the Alpine. So I think I'd go Hulkenberg there. The team is very dependent on Norris stinking it up and Verstappen continuing his car handling issues. What do you think about, yes, I agree, Mac Attack. So, I mean, if you're going bold, that's about as bold as you can get, swerving McLaren this weekend. What do you think about Norris 3X, Piastri 2X, Alonso, Behrman, Sainz, and McLaren? Williams can't afford Mercedes. That's a strong lineup. Yeah, that's probably as strong as you can get with that budget there, Hornews, so I like it. Piastri 3X, Russell 2X, Alonso, Lawson, Colapinto, Mercedes, Red Bull Racing, balance 0.6 million. Yes, that is a solid squad. Go for that. Samzy1999 says, I'm 12 points behind first place in my league. He has triple Mercedes as of Vegas plus Racing Bulls. So he definitely would be taking a hit to do a -30 to get Racing Bulls, McLaren, Norris, Piastri, Hadjar, Alonso. Is it worth it? I mean, if you want to just keep being steady Eddie there, Samzy, and just let him take the hits. But do I think a -30 to get Red Bull? I'm assuming that's Red Bull. Red Bull, McLaren, Norris, Piastri, Hadjar, Alonso, Colapinto is worth it. If you could avoid it to bring in Colapinto, I'd be a fan. But if you have to bring in Colapinto, I guess if you can get a -20 and keep Verstappen or something like that, then it might be worth it there. Yemengad says, not sure how to optimize further. -10 from Gasly to Alonso. That's a really tough question. I'd say yes. Sainz versus Tsunoda, -10 for Tsunoda. I'd probably go with Sainz. Greeting Yuns, I have Verstappen and Piastri. Who would you add DRS? I think I'd give it to Piastri. Reckless Medic, morning, sticking with Max and George as my A-tier drivers and brought in Yuki, Carlos, and Fernando for B-tier. Also keeping McLaren, Mercedes as constructors. What about F1 Predict? Kind of leans similar to what Zach GP said, but would like to know your takes. Let's go do some F1 Predict, shall we? While we're 20 minutes into the stream here. All right. Predict the podium for the Qatar Grand Prix. I guess this kind of is me saying who I think is going to do what. I think it's going to be Lando, Oscar, George. Going to do that. How many teams will score points in the sprint? So who is in the sprint right now? Who is in the top 8 in the sprint? Let's go double check. We got McLaren, Mercedes, Aston Martin, Red Bull, Williams. That's 5 teams. I can see Leclerc getting past Sainz. So I guess I'm going to go 5 teams. I'm going to go 5 teams for F1 Predict. Oh, damn it. 6 teams. I'll go 10 teams or 5 teams for 10 points. Who will finish ahead in the sprint? I'm going to go Piastri for that one. Who will take pole position for the Grand Prix? Lando Norris. Who will qualify highest for the Grand Prix? I'm going to go Isaac Hadjar. He's been in bang-up form, even though Williams has looked good. How many times will the safety car at VSC be required during the Grand Prix? Oh, I'm going to go, well, see, there's been a lot of retirements. There's been 4 retirements here of the last 2 races. I'm just going to stick with 0 for the good vibes. Who will finish ahead in the race? Isaac Hadjar. Which team will score more points this weekend? Mercedes, Red Bull Racing, or Ferrari? I guess I'm going to back Mercedes there. Who will set the fastest pit stop of the race? I'll go Red Bull. And will the Drivers' Championship be decided in Qatar? I'm going to say yes. And then I got to reply my 2x chip. So I'm going to put it to Hadjar. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. That's it. That's the whole thing. Let's get back into the chat. I'm sorry that the live chat thing isn't working for this stream for some reason. It was literally working on Wednesday night, and I have not touched anything. So I don't know technology. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Hopefully everyone is doing all right, though. It's just showing up super big here. Let me pop this back out. Let's see here. Restore chat. All right. Pop out chat. I don't know why it's doing this. Get chat overlay. Give me 1 second. Let's try this one more time. See if I can be a technical wizard, Harry. Nope. Still a bust. Still a bust. I don't know why. Okay, back to the chat. Back to the chat. Let me put this here. That would help. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at? Okay, I'm a little bit behind. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. Greetings, Julian. I have Verstappen and Piastri. Who would you add DRS to, says Helifco. I would probably go with Piastri. Done that one. Okay. Got 3 transfers and 142.8 in the budget, says E Combo. Lots of options, but currently thinking of a team. McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri, Sonoda, Sainz, Alonso, but this is negative 20. Feel like it might be justifiable. No McLaren assets last week. So, yeah, negative 20 is what I'm... that's what I'm thinking about. Nixie404 says, my brain can't comprehend F1 Fantasy and FPL deadline streams at the same time on my feed. I know, Nixie. This morning I was like, okay, I got to get everything set up for my F1 Fantasy stream. Also, I had to finalize my wild card, which is a little bit different than what the usual content creators would probably go with. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But even as bad for fantasy points, I would cry if the front row crashes and Alonso wins, says Hornu. I have 2 options in my budget, says Rulavera. Lando 3x, Max 2x, Sainz, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, and Williams for a negative 20. Or Lando, Oscar, Alonso, Colapinto, Lawson for a negative 10. What do I do? I like the... This is all over the spot. Alligator. Okay, so... Oh, Rulavera, you deleted it. Oh, Sims V2 came out. All right, let's go check out Sims V2 because we were promised, or not promised, but writer said that there would probably be a second version because he said it had to kind of rush this one a little bit. All right, so I'm going to unpin these teams because it's kind of massive. All right, my T1 squad. What is it saying for the T1 squad? 2 transfers, 302 points. All right, but what if I told you that I have the 3X chip? Okay, it's saying that the best team for my squad is Piastri, Alonso in with Verstappen. I don't know. It doesn't feel good. It really doesn't like my Red Bull idea. Not one bit. Like, if I build this manual team with Red Bull and then Sainz... Is it Sainz, Hadjar, Gasly? No. Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso. Or not Gasly. There. That's 384 points with a negative 20 or whatever. So 364.6. And then this team is suggesting here for my T1 squad, even with a negative 10, is 375.3. which is one of my possible moves options, I believe. Man. Oh, well. Oh, well. Going against the Sims doesn't usually go all that well, but you never know. So I guess I will clarify that these are the Sims I have up in the top right-hand corner now are the version 1. They are not the version 2. But there we go. All right, where did the chat go? Here we go. Okay. Can I use Final Fix after the sprint? Yes, you can use Final Fix after the sprint. You can actually not even have to use it after the sprint. You can use it after qualifying as well. I can get to Max, Piastri, Red Bull, and McLaren with Alonso, Colapinto, and Hadjar for a -20. I don't like the idea of not having at least Max. Fair enough. I don't really like it either, but that's where we're at. Ewan, since most of us are way behind top 1000, wouldn't playing the differential but still plausible be the best line? Yeah, I guess I don't know what the differential is going to be. I don't know if people are just going to stick with Max and avoid the hits, or if they're going to get into that triple McLaren. It's kind of tough to say which way the people are going to go. But this poll has been up long enough. Who will finish higher in the sprint? Alonso 42%, Tsunoda 20%, Sainz 25%, Leclerc 13%. So people are backing Alonso to have a pretty good race. Okay, there we go. Nope, still doesn't work. So annoying. All right, new poll. What's the better combo? Triple McLaren, or what do you prefer? Triple McLaren, some Verstappen exposure. Start poll. Let me know. All right, let's get back here. I just gamble these last 2 rounds, says Nixie. Doesn't care. Probably in the bin, but it's top 1K, or I don't care. Call up into Alonso for a -10. Ugh. That is really tough, Tomas. I'm likely to say it will pay off. I just don't love that, but you never know. Airstriker 00. Have Norris, Russell, Bortoleto, Colapinto, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes, and 3 transfers. What should I do? Have too many options, including Piastri, Russell, Tsunoda, Alonso, Sainz, and Hadjar. I like Norris. I like McLaren. I like Mercedes. I would try and get Alonso in for Colapinto. Where's Bortoleto at? What's he even at now, value-wise? I'd try and get Bortoleto out of your squad there. So Bortoleto to Lawson is perfectly fine as well. And that's probably where I'd go. And you can keep Gasly. Yeah, not bad at all. I think lots of managers are thinking too much week to week. Got to keep in mind your options for the following week. Always plan ahead with a few options. That is another reason that I'm not super scared about going triple McLaren, because they should be pretty good in Abu Dhabi as well. Like Lando Norris won that race last year. Verstappen and Piastri had a little bit of a tiff in the first corner, or turn 3, I can't remember, to kind of spoil that day, but it is what it is. My differential team is McLaren plus Red Bull, Piastri ×2, Verstappen, Lawson, Hulk, Gasly, -10. I like it, Saran. Sorry for being daft, but when do I click the extra DRS? Is it after I press the continue button after choosing my new team, or somehow beforehand? I don't want to screw it up. Thanks. Okay, yes. So what you'll do is, if you make a transfer or whatever, well, you can actually do it here. You can apply the chip right now and hit continue, and then it should come up with a warning screen. I guess we're going to see. I'll be your guinea pig here. So it says, select a driver for extra DRS. So blah, 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 blah. So for now, I'll have it on Verstappen. And then the next one will be extra DRS boost 2 for Russell. So that is what I'll have for now. But then I will change my transfers. So, oh, look, and I can... If you cancel now, the blah, 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 the chip remains available for future use. Yes. So I will confirm. I'm about to back out without applying your chip. So there we go. So we're good. See, that I was a little bit nervous there, but hopefully that helped. Some live experimentation with the F1 Fantasy Tools game, or F1 Fantasy game there. 72 points behind, both playing 3X this week. Rival is going triple McLaren. Feels like the last chance to go Max, Red Bull, Russell, and bank on bad McLaren pit stops. Talk me out of it, please. If all you care about is your mini league, that is actually a great way to go about it. You're 72 points behind. Swerve McLaren a little bit. Get Red Bull in. Get Max in. That you are good to go, GL Ford. If I have Tsunoda and Gasly in my team, do you think it'd be better to swap them out for Alonso/Hadjar? I prefer the Alonso-Hadjar route. Sips a mega pint of tea. I do. Yeah, got to keep the. Oh, since I must be kind of far behind, but there we go. All right. What's up? I think Norris, Verstappen with McLaren, Mercedes is the riskiest but the most rewarding option for T1. Current rank is 1158. Team Caro F1. There you go, Eric. I like it. Sorry, I missed adding my constructors. I have two options. Lando 3X, Max 2X, signs Alonso Hadjar, McLaren Williams for a -20. Lando 3X, Oscar 2X, Colapinto Lawson, Alonso. I like the triple McLaren with Mercedes option. Nah, Sims are just suggestions. I routinely beat Sims. There you go. Are you thinking 3X on Norris or Piastri? I've been saying it for 31 minutes now, but whoever you think is going to win the race is who I would put the 3X on, because I think they're going to get driver of the day. Fastest lap is a pretty big possibility as well. So, because I think if Oscar wins, he stays in the World Drivers' Championship fight, right? So people are going to reward him for that. If Lando wins, or he wins the World Championship, he's going to get driver of the day to reward him for that as well. So what do you think is going to happen in the race? That is probably going to be our next poll. W Stream heading off for tea. Thanks again for the advice. You are welcome, Sammy. Have a great day. Another thing, playing the differential, we shouldn't just pick what has a low ownership, but play around a scenario. For example, Mercedes is 95% in the top 500, so dodging them in case of a DNF is an idea. Yeah, and that's an idea that I'm playing with because I'm still considering that -20. It kind of speaks to me. So that's where we're at. That is where we're at. Let's see what's going on in the world of X. People are asking me some questions. I guess we could just answer them here, right? Let's answer some questions for the people on X. Oh my goodness. I've had a rule of never taking hits. It's half DNF. It's massive and racks up quickly. The tool suggests Piastri and Verstappen could take negative for 3, but I'm confident Norris will outscore Piastri. Not trusting the sim this much this weekend. Number 4 in the league with. Yep, there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. That said, if I do Piastri Verstappen, it's the hope that many go Piastri Norris and Norris DNFs. For context, here's his suggested teams, but don't think he's using the tool. Came out of nowhere, though, through no McLaren exposure. Let me respond here. I'm still Team Norpia. Andre is very active. Need urgent help, my man, says Shivang, as my brain has given up. Which to go for? It's gonna be Bay. Let's go. All right, back to y'all's chat, because you guys are here in the stream, so let's prioritize y'all. Hamilton, Stroll, Gasly, Colapinto, pit lane. What? Missed that, apparently. Let's go check that all out. Might ditch Hadjar. Oh, let's see. Pop Pan Man. Found a nice balance with T2, using 2 transfers for Verstappen plus Gasly to Piastri plus Alonso. Means final fix is very much live if I tried to get Norris or even Max. Not settled on anything yet, but quite like this. Not sure if I am ignoring triple McLaren too much, though. Might ditch Hadjar and keep Gasly instead to enable potential to final fix Russell to Verstappen if needed. There you go. Where are we at? Stroll, Hamilton, Gasly, and Colapinto will start the sprint race from the pit lane. They qualified in 16th, 18th, 19th, and 20th yesterday. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of people. What else have we got? F1 Fantasy or Formula Fantasy Hub. Rob is live. Let's give that a like. Look at that. That looks very tempting. But yeah. All right. So thank you for the update, Eggy Combo. Appreciate that. What's your thoughts on Kimi plus Red Bull plus Mercedes versus Behrman plus McLaren plus Merck? I like the Kimi route better because Haas have looked a little off it right now. Don't forget to like the stream if you are new around here, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as we are on the drive to 5,000 subs now. We got past 4,000 last weekend, which was insane. But yes, on to bigger and better things. So yeah, 4,100 is within our grasp. Let's get that going. 3x on Oscar, 2x on Lando, or vice versa, or Max 3x and Oscar 2x, or vice versa. So it has all the scenarios. I think right now I'm back in Lando. So I think I'd go Lando 3x and Oscar 2x. Norris, Russell, Ocon, Sainz, Gasly with McLaren, Mercedes, 139.4, and 2 transfers with Limitless. Russell plus Gasly to Piastri and Alonso this week, and Limitless next week. That's a pretty solid squad for Abu Dhabi there. Party with Cardi, 8511. Maybe I'd go Limitless this week, because you got sprint race, low overtake track, so there's more points on offer with a lower overtake track, even though like that's not really what the stats say, but it is kind of hard to overtake here. So triple McLaren, double Red Bull, Russell, and then Leclerc, Antonelli is what I would do for Limitless this week. But overall, if you're definitely going to go that 2 transfer route, Russell plus Gasly to Piastri and Alonso, I like that quite a lot. Piastri, Norris, Tsunoda, or Piastri, Russell, Borletto? Piastri, Norris, Tsunoda, William. Lead in my league, 75 points. Had bad Norris luck. Currently, Max, Russell, Sainz, Colapinto, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes. 3 transfers plus PX. What safe play? Don't have budget for Red Bull. Triple McLaren. Keep Max, who to 3x. If you're playing safe, then I'd have 1 McLaren and Max. That's what I would do. No chat pop-ups in the stream. It doesn't feel the same without them for some reason. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, Mr. I have not changed any of the settings. I think it's maybe just the plugin that has decided to go, unfortunately. So I'm hoping I'll have it fixed for Abu Dhabi. I'll definitely get it all back up and running for the Q&A stream on Thursday night and the deadline stream next week. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, sorry about that. It does feel wrong, unfortunately. X or Zen 95. Hey, got 3 free transfers. 3x to use with Max, Antonelli, Sainz, Hadjar, Behrman, McLaren, Mercedes. I'm thinking Ant to Piastri, Sainz to Colapinto, Behrman to Alonso, or very different with Norris 3x, Russ, Hulk, Hadjar, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes, but with a -10. Thoughts? I don't love having Colapinto in your lineup, but if you can get Max and Piastri, or the Max Norris team, or that'd be okay. So it's Max and Piastri, or Norris Russell. I go with the Max Piastri squad. Zen 95. Red Steel, defending a marginal lead, so trying to minimize risk. Basically, I can either get Piastri, Verstappen, Lawson, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes, or triple McLaren, Sainz, Alonso, Colapinto, Mercedes. Neither have a -10. Not thrilled about having Colapinto. I agree. I think I prefer the first option there, my friend. Nick, 124.7 budget. Russell, Kimi, Ocon, Gasly, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes, rival. Blah, 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 blah. Downgrade. Okay. 1, keep Merc. 2, Oscar plus Kimi. 2, downgrade Merc to Racing Bulls. I like option 1. And a depressing loss to Everton incoming, says Sammy. Now thinking about Max / Russell with Red Bull and McLaren and taking no hits, says Samsy. Oh my goodness, Samsy. I don't mind that at all either. If I've got McLaren and Piastri, do I go Verstappen or go for the triple? I think I'm going for the triple. Discount Max at your peril, says SM0010. Thinking maybe better sticking with Verstappen, not taking hit, but I hate not having Lando, especially if you could win the World Drivers' Championship this year. Yeah, I mean, count out Max Verstappen at your peril, for sure. I get it. But if I get the Red Bull constructor, I feel like I can cover him off enough that I can have an opportunity that if McLaren is flying, which it looks like they are, may I remind everybody, it looks like they're doing quite well this weekend, that I know Red Bull will make some changes. I know Max Verstappen won this race last year, but this feels like a good opportunity to kind of steam into triple McLaren. I'm thinking that while the gloves are off, whereas like, Oscar Piastri is like, I'm not going to help Lando. I have a chance to win the World Drivers' Championship. I am also expecting them to be very much like, y'all better not come anywhere close to touching and letting Max Verstappen to have a chance of win this World Drivers' Championship. I don't think McLaren really cares who finishes 1-2 tomorrow or today, as long as it's not Max Verstappen, because if it's that way, like if Oscar and Lando finish ahead of Max this weekend, then it's just a battle between McLaren. That's all that matters to McLaren. They only want their drivers to win the World Championship. I don't think they really care who it is. You can debate that in the comments if you want. I'm not going to get into what they're favoring or whatever, but yeah, I think that's all McLaren cares about. Avails, I've gone with Piastri 3X, Russell 2X, Sainz, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. I can't go Russell to Norris without downgrading to Williams constructor. That is A-OK, Avails. RJ Epic 44, hi, I'm thinking Piastri 3X, Hadjar, Sainz, Borla, Alonso, McLaren. Mercedes versus Red Bull, I'm not sure. Russell could do well, but Kimi could keep points down, and Red Bull is third on the sims with limited opportunities for overtake. So who are you putting your 2X on there, RJ Epic? Unless you mean you're just doing Piastri 2X. I have 138.2 budget. What would you do? No chips. I have 140.8. So you are how many? You're 2.6 less than me. Let's see. What about, so 2.6 would leave me with 5.9. I think something like this is really nice, Samsy. Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes. Yeah, don't mind that at all. I think that's probably what I would go with. Alrighty. Alrighty. I really appreciate everyone being here on a Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, wherever you are at in the world. For those of you that have joined over the last hour and weren't here at the beginning, let me know where you're watching from, what you guys are up to, and don't forget to like the video. Always helps out quite a lot. And you know what? I've also realized I've messed this part up too. Because usually, there we go, boom, boom, boom. And then I can get more of your chat in there. There we go, perfect. All right, back to y'all's questions, because I'm trying to not think about my team too much right now, because it's starting to freak out a little bit. Trying to play different. I think top one in my league is going to play triple McLaren plus Mercedes. So going McLaren, Racing, or Red Bull, Piastri, Verstappen. Not sure who to give 3X, Piastri or Verstappen. I'd probably back Piastri there. McLaren Williams could be seriously ballsy if we get 3 or 4 decent drivers, says Nigel the Crab. Great point, Nigel. Great point. I've been aiming for this Norris Piastri build since Mexico when Piastri started showing better performance. I think I'll stick to those guns. I don't trust the Red Bull constructor, though. Erden, what is up? I am good. How are you? I'm kind of starting to freak out about my team a little bit. Daw12. -10 to go from Gasly to Alonso. Yes. I really don't think Alpine looks that hot this weekend. 3X Piastri, 2X Norris, Alonso, Hadjar, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. Thoughts? Simply lovely. Turns out I was wrong on my position. I'm actually in the top 1K, but still have no idea what changes to make, says Nigel the Crab. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm steamrolling into triple McLaren. Hi, I have 122.8 in the bank. Russell, Antonelli, Sainz, Gasly, and Alonso with McLaren Mercedes. Don't know where to go. Switch Russell and Antonelli to Piastri and Tsunoda, or should I do something else? Thanks in advance. Wish luck. Yeah, good luck to you as well, Dankov. Yes, I think I would go Russell and Antonelli to Piastri and Tsunoda. I don't love it, but Antonelli looked okay yesterday. Not amazing. And what is that one thing? Titanium dioxide or whatever is banned in Qatar. So if you want to go with like a weird trend, and he was P10 and FP1 as well. So if you want to believe in some strange coincidental trend where titanium dioxide or whatever it is banned in Qatar, but not banned in Vegas and stuff like that, then maybe Antonelli is not the one for you this weekend. Alrighty. I'm really deflated. Oh, wait, where are you at, Austin? Hey, Ewan. I'm really deflated and could use your advice really badly. Went from 600 to 1300 global, so I'm trying to salvage. What would you recommend? Norris, Russell, Alonso, Gasly, Ocon with McLaren, Mercedes. 136.5 million, no chips. Thinking Russell to Piastri, give him 2x, and Gasly to Hulkenberg. Yes. Yeah, go with that, Austin. That's a solid lineup. Yeah, you're still in the fight. Don't worry. You can only be like 20 or 30 points off the top 1K. Don't worry. Collins, Mercedes, Red Bull, George, Kimi, Charles replacing Yuki Alonso. Charles replacing Yuki, Alonso replacing Sainz, Colapinto replacing Ollie. -10 hit. Okay. Oh yeah, and then do you have the autopilot? There you go. Watching from Chile. Wow, I've never been to Chile. Wish I could go. Evening here in India. I have been to India, but only for a night, so I probably wouldn't count that. 3x on Verstappen or Piastri. I think I'd go Piastri there. I already had to take a -10 to get Norris/Piastri because I don't have the budget to keep Behrman. The extra hit to replace Gasly with Alonso feels like too much. Yeah, yes. Thank you for your vote of confidence. You're welcome, Austin. Yeah, you've been around the entire season, so keep going. Keep going. Let's see. How to get rid of Gasly. Who should I go to? Alonso, Liam, Nico, or Gabby? Also, huge fan. Love your channel. Thanks for the amazing content. You are very welcome, Nick. Thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate them. As we enter the penultimate deadline of the F1 2025 or 2025 F1 fantasy season. There we go. Got it out eventually. I would go with Alonso. Yeah, I think I'd just buy into it. Got a podium here in 2021 with Alpine. Hit that like button. Yes, thank you. Kimi or Leclerc on limitless chip with 3x McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Russell locked in. So I don't know what Ferrari were doing yesterday, but in the F1 TV commentary, they were like, Ferrari told us that they're concentrating on their qualifying pace because they believe that they will be okay in the race pace. And I hope they're right because, oh my days, was Ferrari bad in the qualifying. Hamilton out in 18th, Leclerc P9. So I hope their race pace is out of nowhere. Yeah. So I think I'd back Leclerc over Kimi. Just with the vibes. Let's see. Liberty Media want to boycott Norris to have 3 drivers fighting for the title in the last race. Believe me. Okay. I'm sure they would love that, but I'm not sure how the conspiracy theories. Dude, spare a thought for me. I was 52nd in the world, and now a few weeks later, 900. This game is savage. Still prefer it to FPL, though. Only my second season here, so show this as much luck as data. Yeah, there is a little bit of luck. We're having a discussion about that on the Q&A stream on Thursday night, so that was fun. We were getting into it a little bit there. Obviously, like luck. Hope is not a strategy. You can't depend on luck, but obviously if you want to win F1 fantasy, you are going to need some incredible luck. And for me, I don't know. I can't get there. I think I said if I was top 10K or top 10 or top 100 in the world heading into Abu Dhabi, I would take a huge swing on it if that year ever came about just to go for it. But for right now, I'm trying to get into top 1K. I just want the top 1K. That's what I'd be happy with. So I'm trying to like thread the needle between a little bit of a punt, but not so bad that I could finish outside the top like 10K with a disastrous weekend. But I do feel for you, Nigel. I hope that you can claw your way back into like top 500 or something with the last 2 races to go. Do you trust Williams over Racing Bulls? I think so Lawson was a little bit disappointing yesterday. I think Hadjar just made a silly mistake. Williams came into the race saying that they don't expect to do well here, but then Albon has also said on weekends we say we're going to do poorly, we do quite well. On weekends we say we're going to do well, we can do quite poorly. So I guess sometimes it looks like they set the car up in the correct window to begin with, so they're not really chasing their tails. And they're both in the top 10, so I'd expect them to outscore Racing Bulls today. We'll see what happens in the race. It's kind of hard to overtake here, so it should come down to qualifying. Carlos Sainz and Isaac Hadjar have been qualifying really well recently. So has Liam Lawson, to be fair. He's just had a Brazil and Vegas. He qualified quite well. So I guess by that logic, I would go with Racing Bulls just based on their qualifying form over Williams. Plus, you get a little bit of a little bit extra budget there as well. Locking in triple McLaren, Mercedes, Hadjar, Alonso, and Sainz. Take a -10, then probably Sainz/Mercedes out for Red Bull and call Pinto for last race of the year as a -30 and hold. Worth it. Great point. Great point, Samsy. I am thinking triple McLaren is fine. That triple McLaren is strong. Triple McLaren is good. No worries there. Will go Piastri plus Verstappen, have 3 of 3 wildcard and auto left. Should I use wildcard for 3 transfers or autopilot? If you have 3 transfers right now, then use them all to get to Piastri and Verstappen if it's for free, Paolo. And then activate the autopilot because you'll have Piastri and Verstappen, so you don't have to worry about who's going to be better or worse. And then wildcard next week, and you can just pick the best squad for your budget. Don't even have to worry about budget going down. Don't have to worry about that. Just go for broke with points. I'm fine, says Erdine. I am watching you from Bosnia. Oh, nice. Bosnia is a beautiful country. Lawson or Hulkenberg? Hulkenberg. Nigel, I feel you. Same boat on my first year as an F1 manager. Try not to let it keep me from doing it all again next year. Yes, we are all coming back. You should, if you are coming back for the 2026 season, you need to like the video right now. And I will go through and I will see who likes, and I will come find you in January and I will be buzzing you on YouTube. Like, are we playing again? Let's go. So yes. Would you play autopilot to Russell, Antonelli, Piastri, or say for Abu Dhabi? With 3 strong drivers like that, Mac Attack, in a sprint weekend, I think I'd use it this weekend. Mercedes to Red Bull to cover max points, have triple McLaren, says SM0010. I'm thinking about doing the same thing, SM0010, so I would say that yes. My gut says to keep Max, thinking may go 3x Max and 2x Piastri, can't get to Max and Lando. Yeah. Then, yeah, go with your gut. Like I always say, whatever you're going to fall asleep on Sunday night with, head hits the pillow, and you're a happy chappy or a happy lassie. I hope I can. Yeah, that should be fine. Then you'll be good to go. Are we thinking Norris wins this race then? He's been on good form, and I need a loosey-goosey idea of who to 2x. Yes, I think when I was recording my final thoughts yesterday, like 20 minutes after the sprint qualifying, I was pretty set on having Lando as my 3x. And there's been more and more chatter overnight, this morning, other videos I've been watching, and people seem to think that like Piastri is coming back for it again. But Lando has been the most consistent driver on the grid for like the last 4 or 5 races. Does one spike sprint qualifying really qualify Oscar to just leap back into our like circle of trust, like Meet the Fockers, and just give him the 3x or the 2x? I'm not so sure. Would he be able to do 3x Piastri, 2x Verstappen, and no Lando? I mean, do you have McLaren as a constructor? Then probably not. Would you go Verstappen, Antonelli, Gasly for Piastri, Russell, Alonso, but for -10? Yes, I would. Austin has liked it, and when I do play again, better bet I'll be here because you're super supportive of you, and it's very yes, yeah, it can get quite painful. If I have Oscar and George, should I use 3x on Oscar or George? I would go 3x on Oscar there, Anish. Trust Max versus McLaren. Red Bull could turn it around for a race. They definitely could, and that's why I'm thinking about getting the constructor in. Look, Lando made a small mistake during sprint qualifying. He knows it, and he doesn't seem to be worried. The big points are in the race, says Benods. I agree, Benods. But Oscar also made a small mistake in sprint quality, so a very scary mistake. Locking in triple Mercedes, Piastri, McLaren, Alonso, Hulkenberg with autopilot. Thank you for the stream. Time for me to pray to the F1 fantasy gods. Yes. What is it? There we go. Hunger Games. May the odds be ever in your favor. Is that right? Alrighty. Fantasy Fuel has locked in their team. Verstappen, Russell, Behrman to Norris, Piastri, Hadjar, autopilot activated. Another early lock because of my stupid times. Can't look past McLaren this weekend. Solid array of midfield drivers. Autopilot a no-brainer. Yes, I agree. All right, what else we got? Let's see. I don't think anyone has locked in their teams yet. Well, F1 Fantasy Fuel has. Samsy, I've locked it on. Only my dignity on the line. Triple McLaren, no Max exposure. Doesn't feel great, but McLaren are flying. I agree, Samsy. I agree. Yeah. Austin, I mean, whoever you think is going to win the race is who I would put the 2X on for the extra points, obviously. But in a weekend like this weekend, I don't think we have to worry about the B tier drivers, like, kind of taking us out of any driver of the day potential. Like, if Oscar wins and stays in the fight, he'll get driver of the day. If Lando wins and wins the whole caboodle, he'll get driver of the day. If Max wins and gets back in the fight as well, he'll be driver of the day. So whoever you think is going to win, I know that sounds really obvious, but it's more important than ever this weekend to just be like, whoever you think is going to win, that's who you'd put your 3X on. Also, if you have triple McLaren, you're more than likely, you got 2 bites of the apple that one of those drivers is going to get the 10 extra points. Feel people want Max to win. Good bet for driver of the day. But if he doesn't win, like, then they're going to give it to one of the McLarens, right? Like, Max has to finish ahead of Lando, right? Outside of Lando finishing 10th and Max finishing 9th, that would be the only, like, or what would it be? If Max finishes 10th and Lando finishes 9th, then Max may still have a shot at maybe by count back. I don't know. Yeah. Rebecca says, I'm coming around to play next year. Of course you are, Rebecca, because we haven't discussed it yet, but you were definitely coming back to play next year. What are you talking about? Like, come on. Jizicus, triple McLaren and Red Bull, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking very similar to that, Jizicus. So yes, I like it quite a lot. You have to join me in my race to 1K next year. I've been having great fun chatting with you in the Discord. Yes, and you too can be in the Discord if you use the code above my head right now to get 25% off your first month of my Patreon or join the YouTube membership program. And we can, Benads and Rebecca and myself can tell you about our travels around the world, because that's what we've been discussing a lot. Outside of F1 Fantasy, it's turning into a little bit of a travel chat, which I enjoy, because travel outside of sports is probably like my second favorite thing on the planet. Let's see. Saran says, regarding Piastri, it's not just the sprint quality. He keeps getting better, but some circumstances have let him get the podium last 2 races. Besides this, he loves the track and seems very cheerful. He does. I'm not saying it's a bad, like, I think Oscar's going to do very well this weekend. I just, like, one sprint quality doth not make up for 5 straight races of not so good form. And Norris just feels very calm and collected and like, I'm here to do a job. I'm going to get the job. I'm looking forward to playing an entire off season of paddle and golf and like, let me get my first World Drivers' Championship. I'm planning on Norris winning the World Drivers' Championship and getting driver of the day or fastest lap to cover the -10, says Samsy. There you go. Last choice to make. Take -10 to pull Gasly out. For Behrman, Ocon, someone else, I have Sainz and Alonso. Man, that's a lot of money to go from what, 5.9 to 9.5 to 5.9. So what's that? That's like 3.6 million. Is there a better place to use that money for your squad? Phil, I don't know. Max has to win everything and Lando has to be at least 6th in one main race to beat him by 1 point. This is the toughest yet. It feels like boom or bust. Wish Max showed pace yesterday. Yeah. I think, yeah. Austin says, good point on driver of the day. Wait, so you're thinking to finish in top 1K from your rank? There's hope. I think I'm only like 60. I'm 60 points behind Rebecca. And she is 1006 in the world. So if things go well with this 3X chip, I mean, maybe I won't crack the 1K this week, but I think it should put me in with a shout. Soran says, I always plan to go Piastri this race. It was sad about pole and sprint quality because it will make him a worse differential. I'm coming back next year to win it. 115K first season, 1K this season likely. I'm going for it. All right, let's go, Nigel. That's what I like to hear. For triple McLaren, is it worth it to go Sainz, Gasly to Hadjar, Lawson? Other option is Gasly to call Pinto and keep Sainz. Does that mean you already have Alonso? Because I'd love to do Gasly to Alonso instead and keep Sainz. Red Steel. Let me know. Limitless tips. Who to 2X, Red Bull or Mercedes? Claire, Antonelli or Yuki is 5 driver. Yeah, so triple McLaren. double Red Bull for me, George, and then I'd probably go Leclerc. I just have a feeling that what did he finish second here last year? He's had like a pretty quiet weekend, but Ferrari on Sundays could be fine. Okay, we are 1 hour to go, people. It's starting to get exciting. Is exciting the right word, or is it just nerve-wracking? Let's see here. I'm going to have to cut this part off a little bit because, as most of you know, that it bugs me when it just got the little 0 there. So I'm going to cut this off. Let's see. Didn't get all of it. Dang it. A little bit of a perfectionist, except for the part where I don't have the pop-ups, which makes me sad. But there we go. All right. I think that will work. I think that will be it. Yes, we are T-minus 1 hour until the deadline. Oh my goodness. It's getting pretty important here, folks. All right, back to the chat. Back to the chat. I do have Alonso already. Yeah, okay. Then I like Hajar Lawson. I also have autopilot in my main team, so it's easier for me to pick up Piastri. There you go, Saran. I have Final Fix and 3X. Which one would you use in Qatar? I would use 3X, Marino. That's what I would use. Norris 2X, Verstappen, Colapinto, Gasly versus Norris 2X, Piastri, Russell, Sainz, Hajar, or Piastri / Russell, Sainz, Hajar. No chips, probably need differentials. Opponents have 3X. Then I think it's going to be so hard to tell. So like right now, let's go look at this. Picked percent. Piastri's at 35%, probably from a lot of dead teams. Lando's at 23%, and Max is at 21%. However, we can get a little bit of a better data sample from the global top 500. So Max is at 88.2%, Norris is at 15%, Piastri's at 0.6%. I think these are all going to meet in the middle, kind of converge a little bit. I think Verstappen, I think a lot of people are going to... The thing is, I'm wondering if a lot of people are going to be like, well, everyone's going triple McLaren, so I'll stick with Verstappen. But then all those people are like, end up sticking with Verstappen, and then triple McLaren becomes a differential? Like, could that be possible? Like, there's no way, right? Nah. Man, who knows? Who knows if triple McLaren could become a differential? Man, there was a question I was going to ask, and I have already forgotten it. That was going to be an important question. Oh, wait. Yes, there we go. I remembered. I remembered who you are. Who wins the Qatar Grand Prix? Verstappen, Piastri, Norris, other. This will maybe help us crowdsource who we should 2X and who we should 3X. I wonder if it's because I have a pinned tweet or a pinned message. Not sure. I have 3 transfers, says Hoodie Nate. Have you done predict? I did do predict. I'll go... Remind me in 10 minutes, Mark, and we'll go over my answers again. Okay? How about that? Norris plus Alonso DNF, says Midias. Yes, you told me that earlier on X. Lock it in. You know you want to, says Samsy. Did you set up your squad for FPL? Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I did. But great looking out, Erden. Appreciate that. The deadline's in what? 30 minutes? Or did I already miss it? No, I still got a little bit of my team right now. I'm on wild card. That's my squad. That's my squad. Is it crazy? I can't tell. There you go. Roast me in the chat for my FPL wildcard squad. I will admit that I've been having a lot more fun with FPL this year because I have actually been consuming a lot less content from FPL content creators, and it's made me feel kind of like I'm just going out on my own a little bit, which is kind of nice. Hey, Ewan, who would be your 3X target here this weekend, says The Flame. We are deciding that right now, The Flame, by who wins the Qatar Grand Prix, because I think whoever is going to win the Qatar Grand Prix is going to have the best weekend because they're going to get driver of the day, they're going to get 7 extra points in the race. Like, it sounds very obvious, but that's where I'm going. Should I go Max Piastri, Alonso, Hulkenberg, Sainz, McLaren, and Red Bull? I like that quite a lot, Hoodie. I like that a lot. After my team, never saved for Australia, I thought 2.5k was a stretch for the goal, and I'm sitting just outside top 2k. Right now, I want to keep in my position and get as close to 2k as possible, says Bernards. Yeah, we were all in a world, well, maybe not all of us, but there was a lot of us in a whole world of hurt after Australia. I believe I was 952k after the sprint, or after Australia. And I think I even dropped outside the top 1 million after the Chinese sprint race. I was outside the top 1 million. And then in the race review stream for Australia, or the race, or maybe the Chinese Grand Prix team selection, I can't remember. I made a pledge to finish top 1K, and we were going to talk about at the Thanksgiving table, although Thanksgiving was 2 days ago, so I think I said the Christmas table instead, that we went from 952K to the top 1,000, and I am 991 spots away from that goal. So I got to go for it. All right, let's get into it. More chat. I have gone Norris 3x, Max 2x, McLaren, Mercedes differential to Piastri owners. I will jump if Piastri fumbles in race. You will be jumping up the rankings as well, my friend. What do you think of Norris, Verstappen, Lawson, Alonso, Colapinto plus autopilot with 2 extra transfers? Yes, Norris plus Verstappen with the autopilot is very, very, yeah. A perfectionist would have issues with that gap from the timer to the right edge on round numbers like 6. Don't say things like that, Saran. Now you're gonna just bug me. About Gasly out for Behrman, could take Hadjar or Lawson as well. Budget purgatory, probably bank in the 3 mil since I'm blowing it up for triple McLaren, not take the -10 hit. And I kind of like Hadjar. To be honest. Ranger Danger 994. Verstappen, Russell to McLaren 2x means dropping Sainz, Hadjar for a -10. Worth it? Probably. Yes, Ranger Danger. I think you should be all right there. DesX 1012. Yeah, I'm split on 2x Hart. Max overtakes and Champ. Hopes Brain. If Lando wins, he will also get driver of the day. Yep, exactly. The fact Max is behind Yuki means he has a lot more pace in there for the sprint and race. He just needs it dialed in. Yeah. I know. It's really tough. And I expect Red Bull to come back fighting, which is why I'm considering going with them on the constructor to cover me off, because I feel like my heart says triple McLaren is the right play, but I want to be a little defensive. And I said it at the beginning of the stream, I think it's an okay weekend to not be scared of Mercedes. I think they will be okay, maybe not good, maybe not great. The problem is it is going to be a little bit cooler tomorrow on Sunday, which could favor them. And McLaren's advantage with the tires won't be that big because it's a 25 lap maximum on these tires. So we will see. I do think the McLarens will disappear over the weekend, says Samsy. Best Max can do is third, and even if he does win, Lando / Piastri will be second and third. Yeah, I agree, kind of. Triple Arsenal, are you sure? Foden, Doku, Gakpo, nothing like this? Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm just kind of into it. I don't believe in Foden. I've been playing FPL for long enough that I know not to trust Pep. Even if they all got rested on Wednesday night or whatever it was, I still will not trust Phil Foden. And this is a wild card that I want to be okay for 10 weeks. With so many games coming up in FPL over the next month, Foden is a minute's risk. But I guess you could say that about quite a few of my team. But feel good about it. Plus, no Liverpool. I'm a Liverpool fan, Erden, so I can't be just punishing myself watching their games and in FPL as well. It's absolutely brutal. It's not good for my mental health. Is it still worth dropping McLaren for Red Bull when both McLaren drivers are up so high in quality? I'm going McLaren for sure. There, the flame. Hi, Ewan. I have 140.7. Oh, look, we're budget buddies. McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Russell, Gasly, Behrman, Lawson. Gonna use 3x chips. Should I switch triple McLaren or remove Max plus Mercedes for Piastri plus Red Bull? Thanks for your advice. I'm 600s global. I think I like the Piastri Red Bull option there. Bowie. If I can't afford Red Bull and keeping McLaren and Mercedes, go Max and Piastri or swing to 3x McLaren with no RB coverage. Go safe. Ooh. I would want some Red Bull coverage. I think I would want some Red Bull coverage there, Alligator. So whatever you got to do to get some Red Bull coverage, that's what I would do. I'm thinking about Piastri, Norris, Hadjar, Sainz, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes. What do you think? I like it, but like I just said, I would probably side with getting some Red Bull coverage in there. -10 for that, says Sandro. Is using Limitless or Wild Card better? I prefer Limitless this week and then Wild Card next week, personally, because then you kind of like have your pick of the bunch 2 weeks in a row. That's kind of, you don't really get that all that much in F1 Fantasy. Santiago Garcia says, hi, Ewan. Should I go triple McLaren, but constructor Aston Martin, or McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Antonelli, Alonso, Sainz, Hadjar? I do like that second option. I don't really like Aston Martin. Well, they look okay, but the second squad is better balanced, but you don't really have any Red Bull exposure, so that's a little scary as well. Maybe that second option, Santiago. Let's see, where are we at? Don't you have the fear that Red Bull can use Tsunoda to stop Norris? Not really. Nah, I think that's a little overblown. So what would you do with 122.9 million budget, Claudio? If you can at least let me know your team, Claudio, I can help out a little bit more. My team right now is Verstappen, Antonelli, Gasly, Lawson, Sainz, Mercedes, McLaren, 2 free transfers, and 3x available help. So you got some Red Bull coverage, you got some McLaren coverage. Man, that is... I'd want to get Alonso and Hadjar in there, JLP. Verstappen isn't human. We must remember this, says Colin. Yes, I know. Yes, I understand. But sometimes I just gotta... The heart wants what the heart wants, Colin. Should I drop Mercedes for Aston to get Norris and Piastri, Verstappen, Piastri for the 3x chip? I would really like to get 2 strong drivers in if you're using the extra DRS boost chip. So whatever you got to do to that, is what I would do. Is it worth going -10 if I use autopilot? And if so, would you go triple McLaren or Max Norris? If you're using the autopilot chip, I'd like to cover off the Max Norris thing. Autopilot or no negative for the team with Norris and Piastri. Don't have 3 DRS. Man. I would usually say save the autopilot for a last race punt, but considering it's a sprint, I think I'd use autopilot this week and El Shram, and then use no negative next week just to avoid anything. If Max can pass Yuki and Alonso in the sprint, that alone would be a great points for Max in the sprint. Yeah, that is a great point. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the sprint outcome, barring like any DNFs or whatever, but yeah, Max can easily get past Alonso and Tsunoda, and probably will. Yeah, like to be fair. So let's Max may come out on top after the sprint over Piastri and Lando, to be honest, because if he gets 2 overtakes plus 2 positions gained, that's 4 extra points. Finishes 3rd in the sprint, or maybe 4th, behind Russell, Norris, and Piastri. He could well be in the lead. I'm not entirely, yeah. I don't know. That's a lot of ifs and buts. Also wildcarding FPL this week. Kind of hate all my drafts. I kind of did too. Shade XH. So I kind of just went with what I thought looked all right, and we'll just see how it goes. I almost wondered if the 3x is enough of a differential for my league. Perhaps Norris, Russell, keep McLaren. I can't bring in Max and Norris, but I could bring in Max Piastri too. I like that. Max Piastri, that's a strong lineup. Would you drop McLaren for Red Bull? Probably not. Would you go Norris 3x, but think Verstappen wins driver today as long as no one else does something crazy? I would 3x Norris if I think he wins the race. I'd 3x Verstappen if I think he wins the race. So I guess I would go with Verstappen for you, Maxi. What do you think? No negative or limitless? I would go limitless this week. But do those of us just outside the top 1K need to be bold right now and go triple McLaren? It really depends, because a lot of people, ouch, a lot of people in the top 500, 71.2% of the global top 500 have used the extra DRS chip. So 28.8% of the global top 500 have not used it. So that means that that's a bigger differential inside the top 500. So I'm going to think that it's similar in the top 1, 2, 3K, where there is about 30% of us that still have to use that chip. And that's a differential in itself, Austin. So that's where, like, I'm not trying to get too crazy. I don't have to play a crazy 3X chip. Maybe you guys think triple McLaren without Max is crazy, but I don't think it's too bad. Frederick, I'm playing 3X this weekend. Should I Norris, Piastri, Williams, McLaren, or Piastri, Russell, Mercedes, McLaren, or Norris, Verstappen, Williams, McLaren? You know, I kind of like that third option there, Frederick. I'm not going to lie. That kind of caught my eye. That got me excited. Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Colapinto with Red Bull and Mercedes. Who am I 3Xing? Who do you think is going to win the race, Ali? That's who I would 3X. I think it's going to be Norris. My team now is Norris, Hadjar, Antonelli, Gasly, Sainz, and McLaren, Mercedes. Use one move and swap in Alonso for Gasly, or 3 moves and go with Piastri, Russell, Alonso over Norris, Antonelli, Gasly. I like the Piastri, Russell, Alonso stuff. Brundle is currently talking about how P2 Russell is on the dirty side of the track, so Norris could get the jump off the line. Agreed. It kind of entered my thoughts a little bit there. Like, is Piastri's going to be worried about Lando right behind him possibly getting a slipstream, or so is he going to worry about Russell like covering off Russell at the beginning? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. I'm really looking forward to what we see in about 45 minutes time. 45 minutes time. Oh my goodness. I think I may be looking at Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes here. 3X Verstappen. I like it, the Flame. I like it a lot. If you have Max, is it really worth taking him out for -10 to get McLaren triple? Feels like a tough call. It is very tough, and it may bite me in the butt. But, oh, I am a 7-year-old. That I think with how McLaren looks, they should be all right. Alonso, Sainz, Hulkenberg, pick 2. I will pick Alonso and Sainz. Mark Johnson says, can Trips, McLaren, Hadjar, Gasly, Alonso, Sainz, McLaren, V-Carb make up differential over Piastri, Antonelli, Hadjar? Yeah. Triple McLaren, Hadjar, Gasly, Alonso, Sainz. I'd go Alonso over Gasly in that team, Mark. I think I'd like that team. Yeah, that's fine. That should be good. Please share Limitless team, says Anmol Bobal 5336. Triple McLaren, double Red Bull, Russell, and then Leclerc or Antonelli, whichever one you want. If you believe in titanium dioxide or whatever it is, go with Leclerc. As a differential, Mercedes, Racing Bulls, Verstappen, Piastri, Antonelli, Gasly, Colapinto, what do you say? I say that's pretty spicy. I hope I would like it a lot more if you had the autopilot chip. T2 team, 2 transfers, 3X chip to play, says Mark Johnson. Gasly for Hadjar for a -10? Yeah, that could be worth it. Frederick says, thanks. You're welcome, Frederick. Kevin Burns, Piastri, Antonelli, McLaren, Mercedes versus Piastri, Russell, Red Bull, McLaren. I have 3X chip. I like that second option. Piastri, Russell, Red Bull, McLaren. Should I use my third transfer for Gasly out, Alonso in, or save it for next week? Alonso is going to be down in positions. That is correct. Born to Drift. Rolling a transfer is always nice. That's always my number 1 option in any fantasy game, so I would really like to do that. But I think Alonso is probably going to score enough to be worth that -10. Andy says, hi, Ewan. Not sure what I should do with my team this week. Max, Antonelli, Gasly, Behrman, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. 0.1 million left in budget and 3 moves. Whew, that is tough. You could do Behrman down to Alonso, and that would save you 5 million. And then you could do Mercedes up to Red Bull. That might be nice. And then you keep a little bit of the Mercedes exposure with Antonelli. Torn between 3X or wildcard teams. 134 million, 2 moves open. Have McLaren, Ferrari, Verstappen, Antonelli, Colapinto, Sainz, Hadjar. I'd probably go 3X this week, Cyphers, and then just you have wildcard to do. Then you have wildcard to have a pick and mix next week. Thinking same. Gut says Max, says Alligator. I could make Trip McLaren, actually, says the Flame. What did Elite Data show McLaren, Red Bull, or Mercedes for lowest ownage? I believe it was actually Red Bull, 27% here. Let's go to the statistics. Red Bull, 92, 36, 88, 85. 61, 58, 91, 77 for Mercedes, 22, 86, 63, negative 34. So, but Red Bull for the pit stops. Red Bull for the pit stops. New band name, I call it. This is what I'm thinking. Triple McLaren, Alonso, and Red Bull. That's a negative 20, folks. That is a lot of hits. I don't think I've taken a negative 20 this season. I don't think so. Oh no! Formula Fantasy Hub Rubs. Oh, his stream died because he had a power outage at the hotel. No. That sucks. I hope it gets back up. Rob's streams are always fantastic. So, although you guys can stay here, his stream is down. Don't forget that. But yeah, so let's see what else we've got going on here. I haven't seen anyone lock in their teams yet, so everyone's keeping their cards close to their chest. I'm assuming the FanAmp guys are already live with Terry and Zach and stuff like that. Solid effort. I like it. But where is the 3X? Lando. I still think I'm going to 3X Lando. Let's check the poll results right now. Let's see how many of y'all voted. We've had 150 votes. Verstappen, 19%. Piastri, 39%. Norris, 40%. And other, 2%. Whew. There you go, folks. That's a lot. That's really close between Norris and Piastri. Let's see. Thanks, says Andy. Yeah, you're welcome, Andy. Yeah, I'm concerned putting all my eggs in the McLaren basket. I left the game after China. Now I'm going to check my ratings. Says Unwanted Wolf 8310. Let me know how that's going. I want to see. I could either go Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes, negative 10, or Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. Norris, Piastri, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. I kind of like the Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes build there, the Flame, because you do have a little bit of Verstappen exposure. Austin, I'm not confident that Alonso is going to get as many points as they're predicting. Thoughts on that? The Sims did seem a little high for me on Alonso. What he was at 15, so he's gone down to 13. But in the practice debrief, which we can take with a pinch of salt, like Aston Martin, 4th in sprint qualifying analysis, and even in the ideal sprint qualifying analysis, like Alonso, 4th, and then what is he? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, still 6th. Ahead of the Williams, ahead of the Ferraris, ahead of the Saubers. So I think Alonso, in general, he likes this track. He's had a podium here in the past few years. So not too bad. Car performance, Aston Martin's looking all right. And then there was one more qualifying simulation pace, like Aston Martin ahead of the Ferraris. And it's really hard to overtake here. And Fernando Alonso is not going to let anybody just like squeeze on by. You know what I mean? All right, so let's figure out the T3 and the T2 teams. I'm just going to go with the Sims on this one because, yeah, it is what it is. What chips do I have for this? So I've got autopilot here. Could be a good weekend to play the autopilot chip, although the budget is in the tank for that squad. So with 2 transfers, it'd be Piastri and Tsunoda. Oh, bring in Piastri and Tsunoda. Okay, I like that. Manage team. Piastri is here. And then who do I upgrade for Tsunoda? Who did it say? Keep Alonso, keep Hadjar, get rid of Sainz for Tsunoda. Okay. Let's go with that. And then we'll put the 2X on Oscar. However, I'm going to play the autopilot chip with this team because I got 3 runners in the top team. So that's not bad at all. Autopilot activated. All right. Continue. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I know. What are you talking about? Confirm. Autopilot activated. There we go. T2 squad, which is also in the top 10K, says I should bring in Piastri and Alonso. That feels a little unnecessary. Can I just bring in Piastri and Alonso? Can I just bring in Norris and Alonso? Maybe I'll go with a little bit of Verstappen here. Go a little bit different with this squad here. What are the chips here? I've got final fix here, so that should be fine. Perfect. And then what else? Just the T1 squad to go. Okay, back to the chat. I'm sorry, I'm probably falling behind. My bad. Sorry, guys. All right, Piastri or Norris? Look at the poll, Salvador. People are saying Norris. Do you think you could be that could be the possibility of a DNF from McLaren? I don't trust it in the Piastri garage. No. I mean, I know it's happened now twice in the last 5 races, with Austin with the DNF and Vegas with the DSQ. But I will go down with the ship of betting on McLaren do not both get both of their cars knocked out in each of the races. So, but we'll see. Oh well. Formula Fantasy Hub Rob has narrowed his down to 2 teams. Let's go check it out here. That's not what I want to check out. He is saying we can check him out here. My preferred limitless lineup. Oh, there we go. McLaren, Red Bull, Piastri, Norris, Verstappen, Russell, Antonelli. 2X or 3X should be focused on a McLaren driver. Final lineup coming soon. So he's got Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Gasly with McLaren and Mercedes. Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Ocon, Gasly with McLaren, Mercedes. There we go. So one lineup has a little bit of, or has Max. Another lineup does not. It doesn't even have Red Bull in it. So very interesting thoughts from one of the best minds in the game. One of the best content creators out there as well. All right, back to y'all. Norris or Piastri for the 3X, Liam Tyler. I would go with Norris. I could go really crazy and take Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Hadjar, Colpins, McLaren, Red Bull, -30. I'm on a -20 for that in the Flames, so you never know. Advice for chasers versus those trying to hold fort. If you're chasing, then I guess I would try and swerve as much McLaren as possible. Like, I probably wouldn't bring in Piastri. I'd probably go to Russell over Piastri if you're chasing. And then even maybe like a Tsunoda over an Antonelli if you're lower in budget. Noel, my team is Norris, Verstappen, Alonso, Colapinto, Gasly, Mercedes, Racing Bulls. Would you do a -20 and take Verstappen, Gasly, Mercedes, Racing Bulls to Piastri, Hadjar, McLaren, and Aston? Yes, I would. There we go. Santiago says, so McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Antonelli, Alonso, Sainz, Hadjar. I could have some Red Bull coverage by taking out Mercedes and going with Red Bull plus Tsunoda. Yeah, there you go. Lucas, best team for Limitless. Triple McLaren, double Red Bull with Max, and then Russell, and then either Leclerc or Antonelli for me, and then flip a coin. Titanium dioxide, I think. Is that the right one? I can't even remember. Titanium dioxide is not legal in Qatar, so maybe Antonelli will suck. Rob is in the chat. Thank you for your salad, brother. Tricky decisions this week. So tricky, mate. I am... Oh, my goodness. Did you see some drivers goes from the pit lane? Yes, but none of them are called Max Verstappen, so I'm not too worried about it. Bowie and I says, how do you decide if negative hits is worth it if the driver team can earn more than 10 plus to compensate? If I'm sick of doing the safety dance, Bowie knife, which I've been doing all year, and it feels like the right opportunity to take the hits, get into triple McLaren for, what's this race called? Qatar, there we go, and Abu Dhabi, where they were strong in both races last year. Like Lando Norris stormed to the win last year in Abu Dhabi. Let's see. Second in my private league, 60th points. We're both 3X. I'd say he goes Norris 3X. Thoughts on going Piastri to be different? Yeah, that's totally fine. I'm glad to see mostly everyone going different compared to me, says Kamichi. Ooh, okay. Maybe we'll get that lineup after the deadline. The Flame 9988 for a T2 constructor on T2 team. Williams over Racing Bulls? I mean, Hadjar looked so rapid there. It was kind of surprising, and Williams looked very surprised by their pace. If you can get to Racing Bulls and it helps you improve another driver in your lineup with that extra budget, I'd go Racing Bulls. But if it's in a vacuum, I guess it'd probably be Williams. Limitless, says Stanley Kubrick. Go for it. Triple McLaren, double Red Bull, George, and then Kimi or Leclerc is a coin flip. I think I'd go with Leclerc. Triple McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Russell, Alonso, Colapinto, Sainz, -10, or McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso, Colapinto, Sainz, -20. Thoughts? Piastri versus Russell is probably going to make up the -10. So I would go with that. Yes. Alonso, Tsunoda, or Leclerc. Oh, Alonso, Tsunoda. Wait. What are you talking about, Anmol? Where did I miss your squad somewhere? My bad. I'm not sure what you're referencing, Anmol. Oh, which one to choose? Leclerc. Is it worth -10 Alonso? Maybe over the Alpines. I'd say over the Alpines, Lucas. Yeah, I want to drop Mercedes for Norris, Verstappen, McLaren. Racing Bulls will definitely work. Give me a better B-tier driver as well. Yeah, I like that, LaFlame. Very, very good. Piastri has crept into the lead at 40%. That's probably because Rob got in here with his Australian bias, but that's okay. So Piastri's at 39%, Norris at 37%, Verstappen at 21%. No double McLaren for you. Sorry, my page keeps resetting, which is very annoying. It will be triple McLaren for me. It just depends how deep into the darkness I am willing to go this week. This is the team that I'm thinking about. This is a -20. It's a little scary, I'll admit. But there we go. No Mercedes. Yikes. Especially because I believe they are the most owned constructor in the global top 500 now. 98%. Oh my. But it feels good. It feels right. Oh, have we got a lock it in, says Adam from Fan Fantasy. It's time for the ultimate test of my faith. Extra DRS on McLaren 1 week after an absolute debacle in Las Vegas. The reward could be huge, but so is the risk. This is why we play the game. Where are you going with this week? Good luck, everybody. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Hadjar, Colapinto, McLaren, and Mercedes for Adam. That is pretty nice. I think that's a really strong squad. I think it's one of the safer squads that you can have right now. And that's really nice. So, yeah. But I've been on this for a little bit now, for about, when was FP1? In the afternoon right now. But Triple McLaren has been Zach GP, Team Locked In, another differential play for me to try and keep up with extra DRS users. Let's see how it plays out. Piastri, Russell, Tsunoda, Colapinto, Alonso with McLaren and Mercedes. Oh my goodness. The Fan App squad is getting up in there. But yeah, I think Alonso is going to be the guy for me, and I'm just going to leave that there. -20, I'm not a huge fan of the -20. I can't lie, but the only other way I can get to it is if I keep Mercedes, then I have that. But no Red Bull exposure, that feels not good. But these guys don't have any Red Bull exposure. So that also feels very strange. Ugh, oh my days. But Red Bull, so everyone is thinking Verstappen's going to do great, even if the sprint doesn't go that well. So Red Bull will be fine. And then if you go to the statistics and we look at pit stop points, Red Bull have 4 bites of the cherry to get as many pit stop points as possible. I don't think we need to worry about Mercedes in the pit stop points, like 10, 10, 5, 5, 5. 25, 25, 2, 2, 15, 15. Red Bull will be doing absolutely everything possible. We may even get 3 stops from Tsunoda if they want to really see how it's going. But man, oh man. 26 minutes to go until the deadline. It's getting down to it. Okay, there's more Chaz. That was the FPL deadline. Now F1, says Chris. You're welcome in, Chris. The best limitless lineup and captaincy. Holland. Oh, wait. Wow, just turned into an FPL stream there all of a sudden. No, best limitless lineup and captaincy: triple McLaren, double Red Bull, George, and then Leclerc, Antonelli. Colapinto to Hulkenberg, -10, worth it. Haha, yes, I voted for Oscar. We have to remember Norris could have won this if he didn't get the penalty, which was a mistake. I'm worried about Piastri's consistency, says Captain Frogman. What do you think? Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Alonso, Colapinto, McLaren, Red Bull, plus autopilot with a -30. Hoo, that is spicy. You make me feel like I'm playing safe there with my -20. All right, keep Mercedes, take the -10 to fight for another day. There's only one more day, Samsy. And then Sammy says, send it. You guys are like the little angel, little devil, just right. You guys are always talking next to each other. Likema says, McLaren, Mercedes, Norris 3x, Piastri 2x, Alonso, Colapinto, Sainz, locked. McLaren, Mercedes, Verstappen, Piastri, Sainz, Gasly, / autopilot. Let's ride. I thought of a new team: Red Bull, Mercedes, Max, Norris, Gasly, Behrman, and Lawson. Kudos, 828. What is up? Kudos, 828. What are you up to? In the poll, who wins the Qatar Grand Prix? Piastri's at 39%. Norris is at 38%. All right. Let's end that poll. Let's get the final poll going here. Which lineup? We've got Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Sainz. Hold on. What was my other option? Yeah, Alonso, Gasly, Sainz. Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes, or Norris, Piastri, Sainz. What am I talking about? I'm all over the map. Don't worry about it. My brain is turning to mush. There were two options I had. I don't know. Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Sainz, and then Alonso with Mercedes, right? That was one option. That's just a -10. Okay, there we go. Perfect. And then the other option is Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, Red Bull, -20. Oh, goodness gracious. There's a caps limit on this thing. Pia. You guys are just going to help me out with this. Give me your thoughts, your concerns on my lineup as we head into the final 20 minutes of the deadline. Oh my goodness. It's starting to get a little bit stressful. Also doing this old school like that. Okay. Back to it. Send it. My league 2 years ago, first and second ended 2 points apart. Oh my goodness. Lick the stamp and send it, says Phil Bear. Bortoletto has a 5-place grid penalty. Does that make him worth picking? I don't really like it. Joshing says 2x on Verstappen or Piastri. Never mind. I think I'd go Piastri. Ocon or Hulkenberg? I think I'd back Hulkenberg. I'm not fully decided yet. Should I swap out Hulkenberg, Ocon, or Gasly? Probably Gasly. I don't like Gasly all that much. So early polls are 75% for the -10. I thought I was supposed to be the safe playing content creator on here, guys. Come on. Come on. There's 2 to go. This is my best trip. Here's my best chance to get into the top 1,000. I feel like if I don't take full advantage of it, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? Let's see. Yep. Okay, people are locking in their squads. Feels like it might be time for me to lock in my squad. But I'll give y'all 5 more minutes to try and change my mind with this poll. 70%, 30%. All right. Do Red Bull for differential and hope for Mercedes disaster, says Mikkel. Wait, if I have 3 true transfers and use only 2, will I have 2 free transfers or 3? You will have 3 next weekend, Juzikas. 3x with triple McLaren or Piastri plus Verstappen. If you can get triple McLaren with Red Bull, then I would go with that. But if you want to get some, then If you want to get some Red Bull exposure, then I'd go with Verstappen. It always seems impossible until it's done by Nelson Mandela. Send it. Who out of Norris and Piastri do we 3x? I think I'm going with Norris. Would you go 2x Max or George? I'd go with Max. I think you want the RB coverage, says Phil. I'd definitely say dip your toes into RB on the poll question. You'd be crazy not to, I think. Whew. How does Final Fix work for this weekend? So you can either use it, so Matthias, you can either use it after the sprint, or you can use it after qualifying. You've actually got 2 chances to use it. But whenever you use it after qualifying, then you only get points for the Grand Prix. If you use it after the sprint, you'll get points for that driver you brought in for qualifying and the Grand Prix. So there you go. I feel bad for asking this question, guys. Which lineup? Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes for -10, or Norris, Piastri, Gasly, Sainz, Alonso, McLaren, BR, which is supposed to be Red Bull Racing, for -20, because I think in my heart, I know where I'm going. I think I know where I'm going. So, you are welcome, Matthias. Would you go for -10, Ocon or Gasly to Alonso? I would... Alpine just looks so bad. I think I maybe would do it for Alonso. Hope isn't a strategy, says Samsey. Who said that? Going with my gut. Let's go Max, says Alligator. There you go. Would you go -10? Oh, I can make triple McLaren with Red Bull for -20. Norris, Piastri, Alonso. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Gasly, Lawson, McLaren, Red Bull. That's pretty much where I'm going with the flame. Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Colapinto, Alonso, McLaren, V-Carb -10, or Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Antonelli, Hadjar, McLaren, Red Bull -10. The second option, if you're playing a chip, the second if you're not. It's like when you flip a coin. You know when it's in the air how you hope it lands. Go with what you want. Max will cover that extra 10. Thoughts on Piastri, Antonelli, Sainz, Hadjar, Behrman, McLaren, Mercedes, and use Final Fix and see after qualifying if Max, Oscar, or Lando are ahead? Yes. 1,000 times yes. 3x on Max and 2x on Piastri? Send it. Keep Hadjar or Sainz, needs a ground grade to get. I would keep Hadjar. I think he's a little bit faster this weekend than he showed in sprint qualifying. Hedging bets with Max plus Piastri, keeping Final Fix and Norris if it's worth it for the race, or triple McLaren with -10. I kind of like the first strategy, NK. I can take triple McLaren and Red Bull with Alonso, Sainz, Gasly without any hits. Well, good for you. No, yeah, go for it. Yeah, I love it. Alrighty. Let's just get this done. Norris, Piastri, McLaren, Red Bull, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly. We swing. We swing for the fences. We swing for the frickin' fences here on F1 Fantasy Pole Position. This is... I'm very nervous. But tomorrow night, I'll be able to go to bed with my head on the pillow, knowing that I did what I thought was right. Right? Okay. Send it. Boom. Here we go. This is it. Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm doing that. I'm very nervous. This is probably not good for my heart or my mental health to be this nervous about 20 drivers going around in circles. What did I just do? What did I just do? Oh my goodness. Well, there we go. We did it. We did the thing. We took a swing. I'm actually just recreating that deadline stream picture that I always put out there. Ugh. So, yeah, we did it. Now I got to post it, I guess. Let people know that one of these F1 fantasy content creators is a crazy person. Oh, where are you? Lineup lock. Get your questions in for the final 15 minutes of the deadline, and I will answer them from now until 3 o'clock Germany time for the Qatar Grand Prix. I ain't scared of no hits. Taking a negative 20 today. Whew. Here I go. I did the thing. The lineup is locked for the Qatar. I ain't scared of no hits. Taking negative 20 today. Good luck, everyone. See y'all on the other side. There we go. We did it. I'm a crazy person. All right. Here we go. I don't have budget for 3x Norris Piastri or Verstappen Piastri with McLaren Mercedes. Should I have Norris Russell plus McLaren Red Bull or Norris Piastri plus I like Norris Piastri plus Red Bull. Budget isn't big enough for 3x McLaren plus Mercedes. Piastri 3x, Russell 2x McLaren. I like it. 3 DNF, says Midias. Yeah, you've been hating on it. Hulk, Lawson, or Gasly? Hulkenberg. Now or never. 3x Piastri, you're coward. I think Lando's going to win the race. Max out in T1 with Yuki calling. Yeah, maybe. RIP. Hope it works out, you, and best of luck. PS, are you on a free hit in FPL by any chance? I am on wildcard this week. SM0010 says, hi, Hulk or Ocon? I'd go Hulkenberg. I should honestly just go safe here in 3x Max, 2x Piastri, since I'm trying to hold my lead and my opponents don't have 3x anymore. Yeah, there you go, the flame. Yeah, if you want to win the mini league, go for it. I'm locked. 3x Norris, 2x Max, Alonso, Sainz, Lawson, McLaren Racing Bulls, 0.1 shy of Hadjar. Oof, sorry, Phil Bear. Yay, says Capil. Am I crazy for 3x Verstappen, 2x Piastri, McLaren, Mercedes? Am I crazy for 3x? No, that's a totally good squad, Captain Frogman. Yeah, that's like very strong. So, oops, turns out that I have to keep Gasly and Alonso because of budget. Should I keep Ocon or bring in Hulkenberg? I like Hulkenberg, yeah. Negative 10, Colapinto to Hadjar, probably going to be worth it, yes. But triple McLaren and Red Bull still has coverage for me to feel relatively safe. That's what I'm feeling, like the flame, yes. Confidence immediately to regret is a true sports emotion. It sure is. It sure is, 24 Leaf, yes. Just absolutely, like, I was feeling really good, and then as soon as I hit the confirm button, I was like, what have I done? All right. It feels wrong not having Mercedes. It feels a little bit wrong, but it feels like an okay weekend to go without them. 2x on Lando or Oscar. I'm going Lando. Gasly, Hulkenberg, or Lawson. I'm going Hulkenberg. I don't think you're crazy for that at all. My team is Norris, Antonelli, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. Should I go with Hulkenberg or Alonso for my final spot? I kind of like Alonso. Good job. Go big or go home, says Austin. The Flame, I went 3x Max and 2x Piastri. Let's go. Norris gets a DNF and main race tomorrow, and we have a 3-way world championship fight in Abu Dhabi next week. Absolute cinema, says the murder rogue. Yes, yes. Hello. What is an ideal non-3 DRS team? 139.4 million in the bank. Cheers. Probably Max and Piastri with Alonso, Hadjar, Sainz, McLaren, Mercedes. That should get you in the realm of that. Oh, man. That was nerve-wracking. But covering off, I feel like I'm covering off all my bases there. If Lando has a bang-up weekend, that's good. If Piastri has a bang-up weekend, I still get 2 times his points. If Max has a bang-up weekend, I still get a little bit of Max with Red Bull, because I don't think if people have Max and Red Bull, then that will probably sink me. I guess I'm tying myself to Yuki Tsunoda a little bit, which doesn't feel fantastic, but it feels okay. Deep breaths, Ewan. Keep talking to yourself. At least there's people here. You're not actually just talking to yourself, being crazy. You guys are here. You guys are getting me through the pain. I think I'm going to have to take this poll down now, though. 75% of y'all said I should have gone with the negative 10 lineup. So it is what it is. Let's see. There's 10 minutes left, and there's still quite a few people watching. So I just want to remind you guys that after the Grand Prix, you're like, oh my goodness, that was an incredible Qatar Grand Prix. What a great time I had. I wish that there was someone around to talk to me about my F1 fantasy team. That's me. I'm your guy. I can be here 1 hour after the Grand Prix tomorrow, I will be chit-chatting about the Qatar Grand Prix and about some early Abu Dhabi lineups. So don't forget to join in. You'll get notified if you like the videos and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So don't forget to do that either. We've done fantastic work today. We are well on our way to 4,100 subs. Not by today's stream, but you never know. Maybe by the end of the season, we'll be at 41, maybe 4,200, because the drive to 5,000 subs is well and truly on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Austin says, these last 10 minutes are deciding who my 2X goes to. Go with who you want. I'm just going back and forth now on will turn 1 DNF screw me. The best stream. Thank you. Everyone liked the stream. Thank you, Alligator. I appreciate that. Any suggestions? Current team: Verstappen, Leclerc, Behrman, Ocon, Gasly, McLaren, Mercedes. 2 free transfers, 141 budget, 3X available. Get rid of Behrman to Alonso. Save yourself some money there. And then can you get Leclerc all the way up to Piastri and then play the 3X at Lova? There you go. Salvador, Norris, Piastri, Sainz, Colapinto, Alonso, McLaren, Williams / VCarb, -10, or Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Antonelli, Hadjar, McLaren, Red Bull, -10. I would go with the second option there. Unless you're playing your 3X option, Salvador, or your 3X DRS boost, I would, if you're using that chip, I'd go with the first option. If you're not using that chip, I'd go with the second option. Whew, mamma mia. 121 of y'all still here. Hopefully you guys are liking the video. That really helps. So I appreciate that. Has anyone else locked in their teams? I don't know if Rain Fantasy locks in his or lets us know his team before the deadline. So we will see here. Best seat in the house. What else have we got? Oh, here we go. 3X locked in. Verstappen, Russell, Behrman, Norris, Piastri, Bortoleto. Betting against Alonso in a week where I expect to be owned by the majority. Bortoleto will be a huge differential this week. Triple McLaren, don't let me down. All right, so we are in similar minds, myself and Rain. I wish I could have gotten Hadjar in, but it was not meant to be. Well, I guess I could have gotten him in, but I still like Alonso. I'm still backing Alonso. Can't go down. Hopefully gives me a little bit more flexibility in Abu Dhabi here. 3X on Lando. Feeling good about it. Me and Rain can console each other tomorrow on the cooldown room because he has been making an appearance every now and then in the last couple of cooldown room streams. So 8 minutes to go. So make sure you got all those chips played. Make sure you've got all those lineups locked and ready to go, guys, because you do not want to miss this deadline. That is for sure. What else have we got here? We've got those drivers starting from the pit lane. Who's reporting on F1 from a plane? I guess I probably shouldn't show that video. Qatar, sprint weather, clear skies and dry conditions. Official risk of rain, 0%. Yes, it sure is. I think it is supposed to be a little bit cooler tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. Maybe that will play into Mercedes' hands. Formula Fantasy Hub, Rob has posted his team. Verstappen to Norris and Russell to Piastri. Just recycling my top drivers the last few weeks. Playing the damage limitation game, given the strength of McLaren this week. 2X currently on Oscar, and Alonso pumped for a -10 is tempting. Good luck, everyone. There we go. So, man, 8 minutes to go. 7 minutes to go. Sorry, 7 minutes and 11 seconds to go. Back to the chat we go. Has anyone else? Oh, there we go. You guys are crushing it. Ocon versus Hadjar. Williams or VCarb? If VCarb enables you to upgrade another driver in your lineup, I'd go VCarb, otherwise Williams. Norris and Piastri or Max and Oscar? Norris and Piastri for me. I went Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes with autopilot. Smart. I like it, Doug. No 3X for me. Wildcarded from Norris, Russell, Colapinto, Sainz, Gasly, plus McLaren, Mercedes to Verstappen, Piastri, Colapinto, Alonso, Lawson, Ricciardo. Yeah, I like it. Either a big diff or a big dip. Ooh, I like that, KM. I might steal that. A big diff or a big dip. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty catchy. I like it. Oh, man. Whew. Alonso versus Gasly. Alonso for me. Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, 2X. Which one? We had a poll early, and Norris and Piastri were pretty much neck and neck. And Mole, I'm leaning Norris, so that's who I would tell you to go with. Norris. So there we go. My thinking behind, you saw it there on Formula Fantasy Hub Rob's team there. Like, I think a lot of people will buy into Piastri. So even having Piastri on the 2X means that I'm right there with those managers, and I just need Norris to do the thing, to score some points, and that can make up a little bit of the differential there. So I think I'm about 60 or 70 points behind Rob in overall, and he's right at top 1K. So that is where I would like to be, because like, yeah, Piastri, yeah, that's gonna be solid. Alonso, Sainz, Gasly. I really don't like having Gasly still in that squad, but it is what it is. Just P19, P20, please. Just you and Colapinto just overtake each other on track about 25 times and get us a big old boost in points there, Gasly. That would be great. All the best, Ewan said. Oh, Michael, all the best, Ewan. Identical lineup to I have to go Colapinto, Gasly due to budget. So, man, I can't believe I took a negative 22 races before the end of the F1 fantasy season. That is a little madness. All right. Norris, Piastri, Alonso, Sainz, Gasly, McLaren, Red Bull. That is the squad I am going with for the Qatar Grand Prix. Took a negative 20. I'm playing the extra DRS chip. And here we are. Here we are, everyone. What are we going to be doing after today? All right, I'm locked into 3x Max, 2x Piastri with McLaren Mercedes. Let's go, Max, says the Flame. Man, you've been all over the spot this stream, the Flame. The Alpines are literally there just not to crash and pick up the scraps of any incidents. That's what I'm hoping. I've locked in no Red Bull exposure. Sweating right now, says Francis. Yeah. I'm sweating no Mercedes in terms of exposure, but I still don't like... in terms of like game theory, but I still don't fear them in terms of points. I still expect McLaren and Red Bull to outscore Mercedes this weekend in the constructors. So yeah, that's where I ended up. That's why I'm taking a negative 20 to get some Max Verstappen in my lineup. I forgot, did Rain have Red Bull in his team or did he keep Mercedes? He kept Mercedes. Okay, so if Mercedes do well this weekend, I'm toast. Or especially if they do better than Red Bull. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're 3 minutes from the end here. If anyone has any last minute questions, get them in right now. I'm really going to figure out this live chat thing. I don't know what happened to it. It's very annoying. Very upsetting that the live chat pop-up didn't work because it used to be such good. Matthias says, just locked in with Piastri, Antonelli, Sainz, Hadjar, Alonso, McLaren, Mercedes. Woo, let's go. Let's get them points. Yes. Hope everyone does well this weekend. I hope everyone has a bang-up time. Let's see here. Top chat. Okay. It'd be funny if I had just totally screwed this up the entire race and then all of a sudden it starts working. No, it's just busted. Why is it busted? Buckle up. Good luck, everyone, says Mark. You too, Mark. Oh, I forgot to tell you my F1 predict. Sorry, Mark. Here, with 3 minutes to go. These are my answers. Will the driver show? I said yes. Okay. These are my submissions. Lando, Piastri, Russell, and then 5 teams will score points from the sprint. I think Piastri finishes ahead in the sprint. Lando is going to take pole. Hadjar finishes ahead or qualifies highest in the Grand Prix. 0 times for the safety car. Hadjar finishes ahead in the race. Mercedes scores the most points this weekend. Red Bull gets the fastest pit stop. And yes, I believe Lando Norris will be crowned World Drivers' Champion. World Drivers' Champion? Yeah. This tomorrow on Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. Anything else going on the old X accounts here? I don't see a lot. It's time for the sprint, the final sprint of the season. Jumping in. Did someone say sprint? Fernando's ready. He starts from P4. Piastri and Russell on used mediums. The rest of the top 7 on new hard tires. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Alrighty. So yeah, that's it. 1 minute to go. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. I hope you enjoy the sprint. Buzzer beater says Mark, yes, it was. I should have gone -20 for Trip McLaren Red Bull, but given I just need to hold and nobody else has 3x, felt risky punting with the -20. Although, to be honest, having Norris going forward is favorable. Good luck, everyone, says the Flame. Hey, you, and just have a few minutes to tune in and say hello. Did you pick Red Bull as a constructor over Mercedes because you want to avoid a -30, or because you feel they'll outperform Merc? Because I feel like they will outperform Mercedes this weekend, and I want a little bit of Max Verstappen in a sprint kind of exposure. Like going triple Mercedes or triple McLaren was already a lot, but then to get into without Red Bull with how they've performed recently feels kind of silly, especially with 4 bites at the apple to get fastest pit stop and that sort of stuff. And I think they're going to be going full tilt to keep Max in the fight for Abu Dhabi. So I still think McLaren will have a better weekend here, but I think that getting some Red Bull exposure will help me out a little bit. So if they outperform Mercedes by even 10 points or 15 points or 20 points, then they've made up for that hit. So that's fine by me. But that's it. That is 3 o'clock, everybody. I hope everyone had a great stream. Thank you for tuning in, for liking, for subscribing, all that fun stuff. I'll be back tomorrow with a cool down room, and then on Monday with the Abu Dhabi team selection. So once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Good luck for the rest of the weekend at the Qatar Grand Prix, and I will talk to you next time.